Chief Seattle, Great Statesman by Elizabeth Rider Montgomery. Guardian Spirit. All that summer, Seattle's people camped on one beach after another to fish. They dried many salmon to eat that winter. Fish was the main food of the Suquamish Indians. Every day, Seattle bathed in a stream. He swam in the Sound. He learned to shoot with the bow and arrow. He learned how a fish trap was built and how salmon nets and spears were used. Only men and boys fished for salmon. The women dried the salmon which the men caught. They dug clams and roots and picked berries. When the winter rains began, Seattle and his people went back to their winter home. This was a longhouse by the Sound. It was made of cedar planks. All winter, Seattle lived in the longhouse with his father and mother. Each family in the tribe had its own part of an apartment. Seattle played in the soft rain with his friends. He watched men as they made canoes and carved doorposts. He watched women weaving blankets and baskets. He bathed daily in a creek. There was seldom any snow on Puget Sound. Seattle enjoyed the long winter evenings. Then people gathered in the potlatch house, which was for feasts and parties. Seattle sat by the fire with the men and boys. He enjoyed the medicine men's dances and their stories of white men. The happy summers and winters passed quickly. When Seattle was 12 years old, his father said, "Now you must find your guardian spirit, my son. It will help you all your life." Seattle's father gave him a burning torch. His mother gave him a cedar bark belt. Seattle put on the belt and went out in the winter rain, alone to find his guardian spirit. He walked for miles. At last, he came to another beach. Seattle built a fire. He bathed in a stream. Then he walked and walked in the green forest. But he did not find a spirit. Seattle came back to the beach and swam in the cold water. But he did not find a spirit there. When night came, he slept by his fire without a blanket. The next morning, Seattle was hungry. How he wished he had a necklace of dried clams. But he must eat nothing until he found a spirit. He tightened his belt. He bathed, and then he started out again. Day after day, Seattle walked and swam. After a few days, he was no longer hungry, but his head felt very light. Sometimes he was not sure whether he was asleep or awake. One day, Seattle sat on a big log and paddled far out on the Sound. Then he dove down into the deep water. Down, down, down he went. His lungs felt as though they were on fire. He kicked and struggled to reach the air again. Then the world around him turned black. The next thing Seattle knew, he was lying on the beach. The rain beat on his face. The waves of the sound washed over his feet. He opened his eyes. A white seagull flew over him. Seattle knew this was not an ordinary bird. It was his guardian spirit. Never as long as he lived would Seattle kill a seagull.